Hello, and welcome to Preheat 250.
I'm Carolina,
And I'm Jeff.
and we have a really delicious meal planned out for you today. So let's get started. We're going to actually do what your mom tells you not to do. We're going to start by making our dessert. But we're only going to start with the dessert because we're going to get that in the oven, and then we're going to come back to our main meal. But for dessert, we're making peanut chocolate chunk bars.
That sounds awesome.
And it mixes my favorite two things, which are peanut butter and chocolate chips.
Great.
So it's kind of the best of two worlds. And then to follow that, for our main meal, we're making coq monsieur. It's a French-style grilled cheese, so it's a little more sophisticated than, your average American cheese, with the bread.
Yeah.
And to go together with that, we have a fresh tossed salad with diced pears and tomatoes.
Great.
So
Let's get started with the dessert.
let's get
That's my
started.
favorite
All
part.
right, so in the bowl, we have already yellow cake mix. It's the normal cake mix that you find at the grocery store. We've already put that in the bowl. And then, Jeff, if you want to go ahead and put in 1/3 cup of vegetable oil, and then you're going to take the peanut butter, which is 1/3 of the peanut butter in there, and then mix that all in. I'm going to grab 2 eggs from the fridge.
Okay.
Just mix that all together.
This is peanut butter. It can be kind of hard to stir the...
Yeah, you're really going to have to work that in there, but we're going to take 2 eggs, and then that's going to also help add moisture. So if you want to go ahead and crack those in there, or let me go ahead and do that. Your hands look full.
Yeah.
I'm going to cross right over you.
All right.
One more time. And then make sure that anytime you're working with eggs, you want to wash your hands. You don't want salmonella. Trust me, it's not something you'll ever want. So make sure you use the soap.
You can already smell the peanut butter and this yellow cake mix coming together. Look forward to adding the chocolate chips. And how many chocolate chips would you say we should add?
Only add about half of what you have
Half?
there. Yep.
Okay. Sounds good. Get this stirring.
And then I'm going to go ahead and add some vegetable oil in the sheet pan that we're going to be using. And that's just to make sure that the dough that we're going to stick in here doesn't get stuck when it's cooking, because then you wouldn't be able to eat it.
Yeah.
That'd be terrible.
Yeah.
So
Don't want that to happen.
you just want to add about a drop. So I'm just going to that would be about, a teaspoon. And then I'm just going to make sure I get all the corners so that none of that dessert sticks to here, because I'm sure we're all going to want to eat every last bit of it.
Oh, yeah. It's looking good. Already.
It smells good. I can smell the cake mix, and
know.
I know I love raw cake mix. I don't know if you do, but so I can smell the cake mix and the peanut butter chocolate chips.
Yeah, it's all starting to come together.
And I've already got the oven preheated to 350. Very important to preheat. Not a step you want to skip.
I like chocolate. Have as much in here as possible.
You don't want to put too much in there. I think that's good, Jeff.
All right.
So just make sure
stirring.
that you keep stirring,
Yep.
and you don't want to notice any of the powdery white part of the cake mix. You want all that incorporated, so all the moisture has gotten through.
All right. And we use chunky peanut butter for this.
I like chunky peanut butter just because I like, oh, there goes some of it. Try to keep it in the bowl, Jeff.
Now try it.
I like chunky personally just because I like the texture that it gives,
Yeah,
and it kind of gives that homemade feel to it. But if you don't like, that feeling of chunking through the peanut, go ahead and use creamy. It won't make a difference. Kind of up to you. It's looking good.
Yeah, it's about ready.
Just about ready. When you're done, you can go ahead and stick it in here.
All right.
Looks pretty good. Make
Just
sure you're
give it a
getting the
stir.
bottom of the bowl. Looks good.
All right.
All right.
Let's get started on more food. There you go.
All right. So I'm going to take your rubber spatula. Always good to have this in your kitchen. You can use it for so many things. I'm going to push this down. I want to make sure that I get all the air out from the bottom. And push down all the sides that are creeping up, because you don't want any of the sides to get burnt, and make it as evenly as you can. So I'm just pushing this down.
It's looking good. Let me go ahead and just take all this stuff over to the sink.
Yeah,
Spare
always
some of our
work
space.
in a clean kitchen, and it makes the cleaning easier so you don't have so much to do when you're done. Almost there.
That's good.
So I'm just pushing down the corners to make sure that none of this gets burnt.
So the smoother the better, you'd say?
I mean, the smoother the better. When it starts to cook, it will kind of even out. But this isn't a very liquidy batter, so you want to go ahead and kind of do the smoothing out for it. All right, so this is ready. We're going to stick this in the oven at 350 for roughly 20 minutes. And so we have here, this is the kind of fresh bread that you get at the bakery or any grocery store in the bakery section. We're using sourdough. You can use wheat. You can use, you know, the ones with the oats on it, whatever you like. I personally like the fresh bread over the bagged
sandwich. So just
sandwich.
like the sandwich breads.
Yeah, this adds the sophistication to our French meal. So let me grab a knife that's in here.
Watch out for that cord.
We're going to use a serrated knife. It's the one with the teeth to cut the bread. And if you want to go ahead and do about 6 slices, so make sure you can get 6 slices out of there.
Okay.
And when you use a serrated knife, you don't want to do the push down. You want to use it like a saw, forward and backward motion.
Got it.
You know, little knife 101 right now.
My mom would be so proud.
Hey, it helps to use a knife correctly. You can get another one out of there. And I'm going to go ahead and grab a plate. And what we're going to do here is put some olive oil on the plate. And go ahead and drizzle that on there, and we're going to drench the bread in the olive oil. And that's instead of using butter, which a lot of times in France they use the butter instead. I personally like the taste of olive oil, so it is a preference. If you want to slather on your butter, go for it.
Go ahead and do this?
Yeah, go ahead and coat just one side of it. And then when you're done, I'll grab you another plate. You can stick it in this plate. Oil upside. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put salt and pepper. And don't be shy with the salt and pepper. The more the merrier. It's better. So I'll go ahead and put the pepper. You can do the salt when you're done with that.
You know, whenever my family and I go to like an Italian restaurant or whenever we get bread, I always get olive oil. Put some Parmesan cheese in there, the pepper.
So good. Oregano, basil.
Some nice dipping sauce for the bread. So I'm definitely excited about this. This is going to be
Yeah, you don't want to forget about your bread. You want to season your bread because that's where a lot of the sophisticated, we'll call it, flavor is coming from.
Yeah.
Last one. Then if you want to go ahead and put the salt.
My parents also always taught me to kind of pour out. Have you ever heard that? Like pour out the salt in your hand so you know how fast it's coming out.
Yeah, it makes sense.
And also, you know, sometimes there's little kids like to unscrew the caps on salt and then you pour it on the whole thing.
No,
and
that's
salt
smart.
comes
And
out and then
once you put
then you
too
can't
much
eat
salt
that
on
food
there,
anymore, you know?
it's messed up. You can't.
So I'm just going to bam it on there like Emerald, right?
You've already, see, you can cook. Who said you couldn't cook?
Cooking's so fun.
So I'm taking out of the fridge. We have ham. I'm going to place this right here.
Okay.
And we have cheese, and I'll explain in a second. Let's get this bread out of the way. Take everything out of the way. Make it cleaner. Oh, one more thing. Important ingredient. We have Dijon. Do you like Dijon mustard?
I'm personally not a fan of mustard at all.
No.
I don't
Okay.
like the smell. I don't like the texture.
It's okay. We don't have to make it. You know, this is the great thing about Coq Monsieur is that if you want to put the Dijon mustard in, go for it. If you don't worry about it. But okay, let's explain what we've got going here.
All right.
We've got, get the olive oil out of the way. We've got ham. This is just your regular baked ham. And you can use the smoked ham. You can use the, aren't there other?
Roasted.
Yeah, there are other kinds of ham. I personally just like the regular baked ham because the smoked ham, I've noticed, overpowers the cheese flavor. So we're just using regular baked ham. And you can get this, you know, where the hot dogs are near the meat section.
All right, the hot dogs. Yes, when we were shopping for this the other day, we saw the hot dogs were 2 for $1 at the grocery store. So
Hey.
whenever you're shopping for this stuff, you can pick up some great
Get
deals
some,
at
get
the
some
store
hot
too.
dogs. Sounds good.
So, and you prefer using this rather than like the already pre-sliced, like sandwich type things again?
I personally like it thicker,
All right.
and I like how much more fresh that
I mean,